Good evening from San Ignacio Town with the 9 o'clock news. I am Tifara Martinez. In the headlines, Belize protests Guatemalan incursion into Belize's territorial waters in the Toledo district. Tobacco trade and effects on youth targeted on World No Tobacco Day. And Cayo Center for Employment Training holds Media Open Day. Stay tuned for details of these and other stories coming up after these messages from our sponsors.
Are you always on the go? Tired of missing your favorite games while they're actually being played? Watch your games and sporting events live with Central TV and Internet's incredible MyTV. Simply log on to www.mitv.bz to get easy access to 25 channels, no matter where you are. With Central TV and Internet's MyTV, you're always in the game.
Here now is the news in detail. The government of Belize has sent an official protest to the government of Guatemala following an incursion into Belize's territorial waters in the south by a Guatemalan naval patrol. Chief Executive Officer in the Ministry of National Security, George Lovell, has confirmed that around 10 o'clock on Thursday morning, the Guatemalan Naval Patrol accosted a Belize Coast Guard team that was doing reconnaissance work on Sarstone Island. According to Lovell, the initial contact was an inquiry from the Guatemalan military as to the purpose of the presence of the Belizean coast personnel on the island. The commander of the Belize Coast Guard Patrol is reported to have informed the Guatemalans that they were in Belizean territory and asked them to return to the Guatemalan side, which they did. But later in the day, another Guatemalan naval vessel crossed over into Belizean territory and asked the Belize Coast Guard Patrol to leave the area. The Belizeans stood their ground and, according to Lovell, in a professional manner, informed that second Guatemalan patrol that they will not leave the area and continued with their mission. The matter was promptly reported to headquarters, which in turn informed the Ministry of National Security. Through diplomatic lines involving the Ministry of Foreign Affairs and the Belize Embassy in Guatemala City, a formal protest of the confrontation by the Guatemalan Navy was sent to the government of Guatemala. Belizean authorities are now awaiting a response from Guatemalan and the protest that was sent. That response, according to Lovell, will guide Belize's response going forward. Lovell says that there is no doubt at all that the Belize Coast Guard Patrol was well within Belizean territory, as the Sarstone Island, where they were located, is well north of the borderline, which is the deepest channel south of the island. Belize's health authorities are turning their attention today to the problem of a legal drug, tobacco. According to the most recent international survey on drug use, some 12.3% of Belizean youth aged 12 to 15 have taken up tobacco smoking, and about 6.5% have smoked an electronic cigarette, a new trend in that area. But either way, the effects of tobacco are well known. So then, knowing this, why are Belizeans taking up and continuing to smoke? The Ministry of Health and National Drug Abuse Control Council says it is tied to issues of culture, particularly peer pressure. Tobacco has many chemicals which are harmful, and compounded effects of smoking over time include cancers, emphysema, and ultimately death if not stopped. The celebration was moved up from the usual date of May 31st due to its placement on the weekend. The Gateway Youth Center in Belize City was the venue today for a meeting involving young people from all over the country. More than 120 young people gathered today to discuss issues affecting them. This youth forum, according to organizer Andrew Munnings, is hoped will be the foundation for bigger and better things for young people in Belize. Among the topics brought up for discussion today were migration, jobs, crime, citizen participation, and education. The format of the event sought to get the youth talking directly to each other, with adults serving as moderators who are already in positions of leadership. Among those moderators were Belize City Mayor Darrell Bradley, PUP Representative Dolores Balaramos Garcia, and Minister of State for Youth and Sports Herman Longsworth, who said his appearance today is an indication of his government's commitment to Belizean youth.
The ministry, the Department of Youth Services is committed to ensuring that we properly grow our young people, that we engage them, that we make them a part of the decision-making process. That is what today is about, and that is why I am here, because I am committed to that. I'm absolutely committed to that. Insofar as where the government will go, that is dependent on what Cabinet approves. But we as the ministry will certainly be putting forward all that we feel that comes out of today, that we feel makes sense to Cabinet, and we will be hoping that we get the support from Cabinet to move forward with these initiatives.
And how did your involvement come about here today?
Well, the department has been working on the policies that have been set at the minister level, because we don't do the work. We set the policies, and people like Mrs. Mackenzie, that's why I had to big her up, are the people who actually get out there and make the things happen. We simply say, look, this is where we want to go. And that is my involvement. I am here as the minister in the ministry who sets the policy, who says, look, this is where our government wants to go, and this is what I think needs to be done, and then they get out and do it.
The minister also called for greater youth participation in politics while sounding a warning about motivation to participate.
I am confident that there are not enough youth interested in politics, and that is why I said what I said this morning, because I don't believe that politics ought to be this nasty, dirty game that everybody should shy away from. How are we going to develop leaders if we don't get our young people to be involved in politics? No, we must do it. However, I believe that our young people need to be properly prepared so they aren't used by political parties for their own gain, as opposed to furthering the agendas of the young people through politics.
The proposals coming out of today's event will be collated and presented, and there will be a follow-up conference in November to check progress. The Cayo Center for Employment Training today hosted TNC News to an open day where the institution's services were on display. Our news team got a chance to interact with the trainees in the various fields, including refrigeration and engineering, hospitality and tourism, and electrical and mechanical training. Chairman of the Board of Directors, Landy Espat, says that the Cayo Set continues to be a model institution for vocational and technical training in Belize.
The whole idea of this institution is to offer skills training to trainees, to students. And we have been very much successful in attracting new trainees in this institution, Patrick, because of the level of education that we have been doing out there. In fact, right now, we have just appointed a public relations officer, Mr. Tristan Aldana, who is also an instructor here. He's very good at it, so that we can start flushing into the schools, the media, and people's homes to explain to them what SET is all about and the advantages that can be derived from their children, sending them to this institution for skills training. If you look around too, what we are doing now is to introduce like level 2s, refrigeration level 2, electrical level 2, and we are looking at the possibility of also including now horticulture, agriculture. And we're going a bit further now. We want to build, and the board has discussed this, we want to build a hotel. We have the land available, that this hotel will be used for students of front desk, hospitality, food preparation, and it will not be used only for us, because as I mentioned to some officers from ITVET, is that we want other ITVET students to utilize this institution here for them to learn too. And we would offer the hotel services for them also. Another accomplishment, Patrick, we're talking about accomplishments. I think that since I took over as the president of this institution in February of this year, I told the board that for us to be more successful, we have to treat this institution as a business. And this is exactly what we started doing. So we strictly operate as a business. We had arrears piling up, we had this and that. We looked at it very carefully, and I'm happy to say that most of the arrears are wiped out already. We have collected thousands of dollars. We stopped the credits, and we have built our reserves. In other sense, what we are going to do now is to not to depend on the government to give us everything, but we want to turn this institution an institution of learning, also an institution that brings in income.
Treasurer for CAIOSET Bill Butcher says the success of the institution rests with the human resources and the general public, which is already seeing the fruits of all the hard work.
9 months ago, we put in a new person as a manager of the institution, and this person has a lot of knowledge. As Landy had said, we're operating this as a business as such, and so the individual that's running the institution now is very knowledgeable in that area and has made a very good decision that has made us very stable as an institution.
Going forward, do you believe that enough of a foundation has been put in place at this institution to make it financially viable?
Yes, I think the foundation is strong. The foundation was strong, even from the beginning, but it just takes people that have motivative ideas, okay, to look into the future, to be able to move this institution forward.
When people think of schools, education institutions, they always envision that you come and you sit behind a desk, open a book and read all day, take tests and what have you, and people tend to want to believe that all of this comes free at no cost. Do we need to change that mentality?
Well, that mentality has to be changed. You know, everybody wants to become a boss first and then earn the money. But the fact is that at SET, you're able to learn a trade. You're able to practice that trade under controlled conditions, and then you're able to go out into the world. I think we do it for about 30 days and work in the real life situations, and that's is the difference with our students. It makes a difference when you're able to go through those 3 series of things. The end results have been very good for SET.
We will have much more about the work that is going on at the CAIO Center for Employment Training, including interviews with the students coming up in a special extended report during the course of next week right here on TNC. You're watching the 9 o'clock news. We will have more of the day's stories for you right after these messages.
Belize Camping Experience would like to thank everyone who makes BCE successful and meaningful.
To our summer camp supporters and volunteers who came from communities across Belize.
To all who supported, contributed,
and volunteered with our Harvest for Kids project.
Funds raised through last year's rice and corn crop will help maintain BCE's children's programs through 2015.
You can also support BCE by buying your bag of Circle R Premium Rice with the Harvest for Kids logo, now in a new package.
Together we can and will make a positive difference in this beautiful country of Belize.
Are you always on the go? Tired of missing your favorite games while they're actually being played? Watch your games and sporting events live with Central TV and Internet's incredible MyTV. Simply log on to www.mitv.bz to get easy access to 25 channels, no matter where you are. With Central TV and Internet's My TV, you're always in the game.
Welcome back. Belize City's residents continue to wonder when they will get to go back to several of the popular sporting facilities which have been closed for renovation. The news tonight is that the MCC grounds and Marion Jones Sporting Complex are partially open and in use. However, there are still major developments to be done to both facilities. Sports Minister Herman Longsworth says that in the case of the MCC, plans will be moved into high gear to install powerful floodlights and relay the pitch, which had been giving some problems.
MCC, we were waiting on a few competitions that were happening to be finished for us to do the excavations for the lighting, because the wiring goes underground. And so we didn't want to upset the competitions that were happening. I believe those should be about finished now, so we're looking to start the excavations and erect the light poles for the MCC. That is basically what we will get done now. We're going to have beautiful lights. It's going to be, aside from the FFB Stadium in Belmopan, I don't think there will be any facility in Belize that will be as well lit as the MCC after we're finished. In the near future, we certainly will have some, but not yet. In terms of the Marion Jones...
When is the lighting expected to be finished? And then the field, is it...
Probably a month or so. The grass on the field in certain areas has been giving us some issues. We have had the people from the Ministry of Agriculture in, working with the National Sports Council. So I'm hoping that the grass will come with a bit of time.
According to Longsworth, the Ministry of Agriculture explained that the underlying soil had chemicals in it that is not helping the grass to grow through the topsoil. The ministry has introduced its own chemicals for which the Ministry of Sports pays, and this has been working. There are no additional expenses, the minister said, as the Sports Council personnel are being used for the work. The excavations for the light installations are on the outside of the playing pitch and should not affect any ongoing competitions. The Marion Jones's athletics track is open, but there are delays to the opening of the football field at the facility. Minister Longsworth updates on this and plans for the construction of an enclosed facility for basketball on the grounds.
Okay, in terms of the Marion Jones facility, we are there pretty much in terms of being able to use it. It has been used before by Love FM for the Urban Fest, and it went well. I mean, we filled the seating to capacity. It's not gameplay, but the field is pretty much ready. We are waiting. In fact, we will, I believe, in the second week of June, be having a signing ceremony at the Marion Jones for the commencement of works for the building that I've been speaking of so often, an enclosed facility for basketball, volleyball, that sort of thing. But coupled with that is going to be the lights for the football field for that facility, the FIFA standard lights. All this is a donation from Mexico. We're there now, and we expect that the signing ceremony will happen the second week of June, and then the process will go forward where that is concerned. But the facility is ready to be used. Athletics are using it. The football facility won't be used until we have the lights, I don't think. I don't think we'll use it until we have the lights in place.
Contracts for the two civic centers on Central American Boulevard and in the Chetumal Street Lake Independence Boulevard are both out to tender. The first is a Belize Infrastructure Limited (BIL) initiative funded by the government, while the latter is funded by the Caribbean Development Bank. The minister said he welcomed the planned installation of an artificial football pitch developed by local entrepreneurs in Independence this coming weekend. Notably absent from the minister's plans is Berger Field, located on Vernon Street in his constituency, which had been scheduled for redevelopment but ran into various bureaucratic snags. The Belize Jaguars, Belize's football national team, continues to prepare for the second round of the CONCACAF World Cup qualifying tournament in the next couple of weeks. Belize will face off against the Dominican Republic in the home and away series starting on June 11th at the FFB Stadium in Belmopan. The Jaguars, we understand, won a friendly match with Guatemalan First Division side Herrera in Guatemala 3-1 on Thursday night. Belizean superstar striker Dion Macaulay was among the scorers. Viewers will recall that Macaulay did not play in the series which Belize played against the Cayman Islands and only advanced to the next round on the basis of away goals after a pair of draws. Elroy Quillen's goal from a free kick proved the difference in the series played without Macaulay, who only recently joined the team after Belizeans clamored for him to come home from Atlanta. The Ministry of Sports was notably silent during the entire affair, and that, according to Minister Herman Longsworth, is for a good reason. He told us today that while it is Go Jaguars Go, the Football Federation of Belize will be expected to take care of business on its own. He also commented on the close involvement of ministerial colleague John Saldivar with the team.
I will speak simply as a citizen that I am very, very hopeful that we come back with a win. All of us are behind our Jaguars. We hope that they do well. We appreciate the difficulties that they go through, but we are all behind them. And so I'm hoping that they come back with a win.
But as a Minister for Sports, what is your involvement in seeing them progress?
There is no major involvement, and I make no apologies for saying this. At that level, football is to be managed by the federation. The government of Belize, in my humble opinion as the minister, the job of the government of Belize is to prepare the young athlete, is to work with our young people and to prepare them to be then molded by these federations. So at this level, the government doesn't have a whole lot of input into what goes on. And we shouldn't, really.
What is to be said about the involvement of Minister Saldivar?
That is a personal involvement, and he has a right to do that. Minister Saldivar is very much into football, and he has a right to be involved.
But he's also the national team coordinator.
But he's not involved as Minister Saldivar, he's involved as John Saldivar. There is a difference.
The Jaguars will play one more friendly in Guatemala before taking on Dominican Republic. The Dominicans beat the Caymans in a recent friendly by a score of 6-0. The news on the national channel.
Belize Camping Experience would like to thank everyone who makes BCE successful and meaningful.
To our summer camp supporters and volunteers who came from communities across Belize.
To all who supported, contributed,
and volunteered with our Harvest for Kids project.
Funds raised through last year's rice and corn crop will help maintain BCE's children's programs through 2015.
You can also support BCE by buying your bag of Circle R Premium Rice with the Harvest for Kids logo, now in a new package.
Together we can and will make a positive difference in this beautiful country of Belize.
You too can ride off into the sunset. Milon motorbikes are very affordable. There's a high availability for parts and a wide selection of models to choose from. My Milon, my bike. Available countrywide.
The Belize Tire Depot, your one-stop destination. What you will find is a first-class selection of solid, dependable, quality products from the names you can trust. We carry a full line of urea and SureTech tools and equipment to meet every need, from light maintenance around the house to heavy-duty fieldwork. Our tire workshop features the full array of Pirelli, Nexen, and Nankang tires for every vehicle and any terrain. Our trained technicians' number one priority is to ensure you and your family's safety and security on the road. It's all here at the Belize Tire Depot. From reliable equipment, world-class time-tested tires, to sturdy, durable tools. Merchandise that's built to last with quality guaranteed.
Are you always on the go? Tired of missing your favorite games while they're actually being played? Watch your games and sporting events live with Central TV and Internet's incredible My TV. Simply log on to www.mitv.bz to get easy access to 25 channels, no matter where you are. With Central TV and Internet's MyTV, you're always in the game.
To end the news, here are the headlines again. Belize protests Guatemalan incursions into Belize's territorial waters in the Toledo district. Tobacco trade and effects on youth targeted on World No Tobacco Day. And the Cayo Center for Employment Training holds Media Open Day. With the headlines, we end this edition of the 9 o'clock news. We hope that you and your family will have a safe and an enjoyable weekend. Join us again on Monday for another newscast. Thank you for joining us. I am Tefara Martinez. Have a good evening and a good night.